We're going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, consideration of any changes and/or additions to the agenda.
I have under, I think, 7 ongoing, just an MPG update / request to form a committee to help with that planning grant that we have for the housing study.
Okay. That's the housing. Any other? Okay, moving on. Approval of the April 9th, the 25th, and the 30th minutes. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the April 9th, the 25th, and the 30th minutes as presented.
Second the motion.
The ayes? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to the reports. Highway and transfer station. Clinton?
I haven't heard nothing about the grants yet. They're supposed to be out this week for the paving grant and structures grants. The truck, I asked them about if we were to keep this one, what the price difference was, and the price that he gave us is for the new truck and body. If we keep it, the old truck, and decide that we want to sell it 6 months down the road, they'll buy it, they'll just write us a check. Or, or a year from now, we want to get rid of it. He said they would buy it.
Did they give a number?
He didn't, but like the average has been
10 to 12.
10 to 15, so. We have a new transfer station employee, Ken Sicardo. As far as I know, he's been helping out and he's working out real good so far, according to Kevin, so.
Yeah, while I was there, he was waiting on everybody and anybody.
Yep. We're still grading, getting caught up, it's a little bit short. Ditching here and there. We get a few minutes, but that's all I got.
The other one, seat quotes for alternate solid waste collection. Have we?
I reached out to Abel's and I got to get some figures together, and he's got three different ways that we could go, but he just needed some figures and I didn't have them. So,
okay.
And he said, once we get them, he would come and sit down with us and discuss what it would be if we wanted to go that route. But
All right, just to let the people know what it is, it's an alternate method for the transfer station. So we would have an outfit that would come in and be totally responsible for the trash removals. They'd park a truck and a roll-off, and people would go to that individual, pay that individual, and put their trash in the roll-off, and they would take the roll-off away with them that day. So that's what we were looking at for an alternate method.
The question I have, what about our recyclables? Would they stay the same?
yes, they do the zero sort.
Okay, any questions on?
I guess one question is just on those RFPs, and contracts we had for Rimrock, like the MPG Rimrock Summit and Stewart Road. Do you have an ETA on when he thinks he's gonna get there?
Hoping next week to start with that.
And then the Shunt Pike culvert.
And as soon as we can get the water to go down. But there's still quite a bit of water running through there.
Just there for like July.
Yeah,
Unless it dries up in June.
yeah, he's hoping by the middle of June he can start that.
Josh, that's not a stream for Josh, right?
It is. He's already gave us the,
Go ahead and do it out of
well, he gave us the
permit.
permit, but he hasn't given us the okay date. Usually it's June 15th.
Somewhere in there,
Yeah, so,
It's September 30th.
yeah. He's hoping that as soon as the water gets down, where it'll be workable. And he's thinking 3 days to have it.
For the culvert.
Yeah,
You have that here. That's
Yeah.
the one that's,
yeah.
and then this year's same version of that, but this year's
Nineveh,
Nineveh Road.
yeah.
Okay. And that,
There's 17 segments that gotta be done
by season,
by the end of
September.
June of next year.
Positive. Should we check that?
I can check it, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Maybe it's September.
Doing that yourself,
Yeah,
and then winter sand.
yeah. The winter sand, I'd like to go with a manufactured sand instead of going with like
quarry.
pipe sand, because it seems like it's getting more clay and we're running into more issues in the spring. And Shrewsbury uses pretty much all manufactured sand, and they don't have half the troubles with the mud.
How much you thinking this year?
Probably the same, 4,000.
Should we RFP it to, I mean, you can only get it from a few suppliers, manufactured, but
I don't know, is Casella's making manufactured
it's really
sand?
Florence. I mean, we can just put the same RFP out and then see. The one we have written is kind of for both types of materials.
Yeah,
Is that way we're covering our bases, yeah.
The one thing we want to make sure is we let the folks in town know that you're not going to see the manufactured sand on top of the road, but it's there.
yeah.
It'll take a little bit to work through the pile we have to.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of
well, there is.
brown sand to mix with it, so you'll still see it, but
It's just
I know,
different.
we
Yeah,
had that problem one year.
yeah.
So I have an RFP, I can send it,
To go out.
like
Yeah.
edit, and then we can work together to get it out
Okay.
with you. And then paving, we'll wait till we hear on the grants, because that'll
Yeah.
depend on what we do. So we should be talking about paving hopefully next, like a RFP next month.
Yeah. And you're looking at up the top of Hortonville.
Hortonville, or we put in for the town line.
Yeah.
Or whichever one they give us, and then we put in for structures grant, Perry's and Sawyer Hill, and he asked me which one of them two were more priority, and I said probably Sawyer Hill.
Sawyer.
Yeah, because there's more traffic there. I mean, Perry's, we could probably put in a 5-foot culvert that we have and get by for
Yeah,
a
'cause
few more years.
Yep.
and then I've got to do the RFP for, like we talked about, for Beaver Meadow. Because that one's,
Yeah, and I also talked with Weeds on culverts and stuff, and they just bought a facility in Maine that are doing box culverts. And they've already got precasted 8x10s, but the ones that we need are 7x10, but
Yeah, it's okay to be bigger, just not smaller.
yeah,
As long as we're crossing all the T's and dotting I's for that one, because it's FEMA.
Yeah.
but them are available, so.
And if the state comes with a grant on Hortonville, you've got culvert repair.
Yeah, I got culvert repair anyhow. Yeah, cause them are sagging bad, so.
Yeah. Seems like there's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to add it all up in my head. I'm a schedule type person. I don't know if we should try to pencil something out just between everything, just to make sure we run enough time for everything.
Probably should do a list of priorities first.
Yeah.
Yep.
And maybe that means like subbing out Nineveh or something, if it's a grant funded thing. If you don't have 2 weeks or whatever upwards to do ditching there.
Yeah, the only problem with that is one of us is gonna have to be there anyhow, because you gotta
Make sure they do the right thing.
you gotta take the pictures before and after, and
Yeah.
you gotta have the computer to segment each segment that has to be done, and it's, yeah.
Not to think outside of the box, but can that be done by, it can be done by anybody that has the iPad, right?
Yeah,
As long as they know what they're doing.
yeah,
I'm just concerned, like we're still picking up after the storm, and
Yeah.
we got roadside mowing and all this stuff's gotta get fit in.
if we get the tractor back.
We'll get it back. So I can try to pencil something and then sit down, and
Yeah,
I think it would be good. It'd be a reoccurring thing. Okay.
Any questions?
I just had a quick question for the minutes. What were the what were the paving grants or the state grants that you referenced at the very beginning when you asked? You asked Bovee.
We
what
had
the ETA
MRGP for Rimrock Summit and Stewart Road North,
Okay.
and that was from last August.
Okay.
And then the Shunpike culvert is a FEMA repair.
Okay.
And then we talked about Nineveh, which is
Yeah.
the current year
Fiscal
MRGP.
year 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's 25.
25. Okay.
I always get.
Yeah, we're one
messed
off.
up.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And then Beaver Meadow was a FEMA.
It's a female one.
Okay.
I can't keep it straight all in my head.
I know, that's- I was-
I
yeah.
think it's
And winter sand is just recurring annually.
I like schedules. That's all I ever make at my work. So might as well do the thing I'm good at.
Hey, Shunpike is certainly, because it's FEMA, that's another one that would be
Right.
easy to, if a contractor were doing that piece.
That's the one we do have. We RFP'd it last year, so we have an award to Yankee Home Management currently.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to treasurer's report. Liz?
I made it just in time for my report. Our cash, we're getting down to the last few months of the year. We got our final cash flow report for the school education fund that we'll pay in the coming weeks. But thankfully, we still are in, I think, a good cash position. We'll finish off our school payments and move into the tax collection season at the beginning of August. But I don't see any need for us to be looking for more cash, which is good. We continue to get more delinquent taxes in. There's still a little over a handful of people outstanding, so next month that'll become a bit more urgent in conversations with Pete Prino, our delinquent tax collector. That's pretty much it for the balance sheet, but the profit and loss for this month, I did, because it's helpful to me, and I think it can be helpful for others, I added on another column showing the percentage of budget. We've been looking at where there's a dollar amount of budget, whether it's over or under. So to the far right, there's now percentage And on the bottom of the page, I put where we're at in the fiscal year in terms of percentage. So just to give you a comparison number when you're looking at things.
That's helpful.
Yeah, it's that's how I find it helpful. But and it's not a one, it's not a one-to-one like, oh, we should be at this percentage because we're at the 10th month. There's certainly variation in there, but it's just a good reference point, I think. We continue to have above and beyond for interest collection for the year, which has been helpful. I think we did finish the end of April. We marked the end of where we're tracking winter labor for the town highway. So that number will stand as is, and that'll be the final number for this fiscal year. And then we go back into summer labor in May. So you can see we're definitely talking about roads previously. There's a lot of we've spent above and beyond on a lot of our equipment's taken a hard year. The labor's been a challenge just to keep up with everything, but overall we're still within our total budget, as long as you're not looking at our flood damage in regards to the highway.
95.9% on fuel. We're under on signs.
We are. But the thing, having additional interest, for instance, is a good buffer for that, so it's still falls. But yeah, it's been a expensive year just to barely keep up with stuff. The good news is things are finally, starting to progress with FEMA reimbursement, it feels like. We moved on to I've just been assigned our 5th project manager, another new one. But she seems to be helpful, and a few things are moving through to the final stages of where then it will get bumped to the state. But we're getting further down actually receiving funds and funding to put cash back in the bank, so. It's an ongoing process. Oh, and I did just have our there was 2 days in December that was declared a disaster, December 18th and 19th. We had about $20,000 of expenses. We finally had our first FEMA meeting this past month to get started on that process. That one will be one project. It should be a much quicker, smoother, they call it their streamlined process. So I'll hopefully have that all submitted actually this week when we come back tomorrow. Any questions on anything?
Is that the road? That one you just talked about, is that the last line on road repair storm DR?
The
47.
DR, yeah, 4762.
Oh, 47.
There's 15,000 there, that was direct expenses, and we have about another 5 in equipment and labor that we're able to submit for, so we'll be 75% reimbursement from FEMA.
What's the other DR above it?
That's the big one. The 4720 was July's.
The total of all of that.
Yeah, the 535,000 is what we've spent out of pocket for approximately.
To date.
Yeah, to date. And there's equipment costs and things like that that we'll get reimbursed for, but it's not directly cash expense, so it's not, you don't see it here. But that certainly plays into things like our maintenance on the vehicles. It's gone, we've had to do more maintenance, but we've had a lot more use.
Yeah, good. Any questions? Thank you, Liz.
I have just one, sorry.
Yep.
Right below that, the Summit Road contracting serve expense, is that amount there, is that,
That was the actual grant funding that came through, I believe, for that, partly that was paid out. I'd have to look at the details of that, but it's underneath highway grant disbursements.
okay, because it should be more.
It was a multi-year project. Too.
Because we bought the culvert in the prior year, so you had to
It's
show
not
it in
all-
accounting. I got you. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, moving on, review the financial management questionnaire.
You should have that. That's just an annual questionnaire that the state requires that the select board. I prepare it. The select board reviews it. It's a point of communication essentially to just kind of check on our controls.
Anything new this year?
No, I don't think so. Although I'd have to actually
Usually
compare
they-
them. So.
Usually they change one question somewhere, so you can't just check. You gotta read them.
It's only my second year, so I did read it. So but it does feel like it's one of those forms for sure.
We need a motion for that, or
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the list of items.
Oh, no, that's the second one.
Financial management questionnaire, towns and cities.
I'll second it. The ayes?
Aye.
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 Just one of us to sign. Okay, moving on, review and approve review list of items treasurer can add to the orders without prior select board approval.
And this is, I think I included it in an email, the list.
Yeah, I can read
that's-
them out if you want. The items that you had indicated were regular wages, payroll taxes and withholding, postage, property tax refunds and tax sale items, and school advances after being annually reviewed by the select board.
So.
Same list that's been there.
Forever. Yeah. So I'll make a motion to approve the list as listed for the review and approval, review list of items that the treasurer can add to orders. Is there a second?
I'll second.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to the Mount Holly Planning Commission update. John?
Or Andy.
Andy?
Hi, I think John sent Caitlin a brief summary, but it's quite brief, and I'll just read it myself. Really, it's just points of information. The town plan was approved by the Rutland Regional Planning Commission, and the Belmont Village Center designation was approved or reapproved, and we've held a subdivision hearing, and a decision is pending. And I think the only other item is that there is a pending application for a subdivision that's not yet complete, but we'll be moving along with that once it is. And other than that, I don't believe there's anything else to report.
Any questions? Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Moving on to the fire department update, Bill?
Yeah, so the update we have is that we did get our license for first response now, so we are a licensed first response unit. So we're going to be operating at an advanced EMT level, is non-transporting. We should be starting with the 1st of June, so when Maggie gets everything that she needs it up and ready to go, I think the day she was picking was the 1st of June, so. Another thing is, I know that we had to ask the town if we're going to do anything with buildings or ambulances, and I think right now I'd like to ask permission if we would possibly could look into sell the ambulance and use the proceeds to purchase probably a pickup truck, a four-wheel pickup truck, this four-wheel drive that's a little bit more suitable for us, that we can pull our rescue trailer with and be able to, use for more than just an ambulance, because we're not a transporting unit. I think if we get that thing stickered up and we take it down the road and we go to an emergency with it, people are going to still think that we can transport, and I don't really want to run into that problem. So we have to ask permission to be able to do so. We will get somebody to come and professionally appraise it. I know there's some people some other departments that are interested in purchasing it. So I don't know if it's something that you guys need to make a motion on or how that works, but.
Where's the title?
Here, or was?
Yeah, I have the title to it. Okay. Yeah, we have it. Yeah.
What are you thinking for the other vehicle? Like,
I think right now we're just looking at probably getting a four-door, probably an F-250 at least, with a cab that's suitable to fit all the gear we need in it. Because right now we're pulling the rescue trailer with our own personal vehicles. Maybe just an insurance aspect and safety aspect, I think it's just better to go that route. So that's what we're looking for right now. And it's something
used.
Depending on what we get for proceeds of that, I would like to get new, only because of the longevity of it and keeping it for down the road. So
You're looking at a cab that has side entry?
yeah, so it had side entry and in the back possibly some sort of a drawer or unit that can slide out. We can hold all the stuff that we need to hold in it. So it won't just be first response stuff. We'll have our ice rescue equipment in there as well. Depending on how much room we have, we could probably put some forest fire equipment in there as well too. So it's gonna be a multi-use vehicle. So.
All right, I guess the first thing we have to do is get an appraisal on what
Yeah.
that ambulance is
Sure.
worth.
Yeah, we're trying to find somebody that knows more about it than I do. And they're kind of a weird thing to appraise.
Yep.
I've been seeing, so. But I'll try to get that motion.
Okay.
You know that? What's the year on that ambulance? Does anybody know? 2015.
I think it's a 16 or
Is it a
16 or 16 around that year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good miles.
How many miles?
What's that?
How many miles?
I think it's like
20 low.
20,000
Yeah, low.
roughly. It's pretty low.
Yeah.
Also, we're gonna start painting the station, so everybody's gonna start seeing some upgrades and some much needed maintenance done to the buildings as well. Also, we were trying to see if we could connect both buildings with a designated walkway and what we would have to do to be able to do that, and if it's appropriate, and if we're allowed to do that. So that it goes from 2 911 addresses to 1. I don't know if that's something we can do or look into doing, but we'd kind of like to kind of be able to do it, so.
I'm not sure if there's anything that's
I know.
permit-wise, if there's, yeah.
Well, they'd have to do the building registration.
Yeah, registered, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd say reach out and see what kind of quotes are out there.
Okay, because I think a lot of it's going to be done within house. I mean, the hours and the tools and the manpower will be done with a group of guys in the fire station to save money, obviously, but just want to make sure it's okay, essentially, that we do that, so. I know we had to come to you asked if we did any kind of changes to the building, so.
If you could provide us with a letter,
Okay,
that
just
would
some
be great.
statement, what we want to do,
Yes.
just,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fine, yeah,
Maybe just a rough drawn draft of what
That's
you're
fine.
looking at.
okay. That's all I have, Dick.
Any questions for Bill? Steve?
Just a suggestion, the Ludlow is in the process of acquiring or ordering a new ambulance. You might be able to give that to them in lieu of having to pay some amount, the $80,000, and use that money to acquire the truck.
I think I think that's a good idea. I'm not gonna say that's a bad idea at all, but I've kind of heard what they would offer for that, and it's pretty low. I think trying to sell it to somebody, because they're already in the process of getting one right now, they're not gonna give you a high dollar for that. There's departments that are in need of one that they can't get because they're out 2 years to try to get them, so. I'm trying to pursue them. I know I have one right now, that's pretty interested in it, and I'd be willing to pay a good bit more than what Ludlow was wanting to pay, so.
Alright, so,
You know, I just think on the trying to save money too, and if we do that, then that funds can be put towards another vehicle. If we don't do that, then we're having to figure out where the funds are gonna come from.
so first thing is to see what we can get it
Sure.
appraised at,
Yeah, sure.
and we'll move from there.
Okay,
Thanks, Bill.
yeah.
Okay, moving on, new business, approve Harry's Restaurant liquor license renewal.
Caitlin, you got that?
Yes,
I just need the signatures from you guys. I know they're closed, but they would like to keep their liquor license open, so if they can do like wedding receptions, any type of Christmas parties, it's easier to keep it going versus trying to reapply.
Okay.
And there's actually 2 of them there.
Yeah, I have that there, yeah. You need both signed?
Yes.
Alright, I'll make a motion to approve Harry's liquor license.
I'll second.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, review and readopt conflict of interest policy.
This is, you guys each have a copy of the current one. I've redated it in anticipation of you potentially reapproving it. This is the policy that pertains just to elected officials and appointed officials.
Any changes from last year?
There's no changes.
Okay.
No, I read through it. There's nothing that was time sensitive or specific. So it's the same as you had initially approved, I think in 2019, and then reapproved it each year, so it's the same.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the conflict of interest and ethical conduct policy dated May 2024.
I'll second.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, review Delta dental plan renewal.
So you guys have the new rates. It is a 5.25% increase this year over last year. I think they didn't increase at least last 2 years I've been here. They have not increased. So this is the annual increase for this year.
Oh. Everything is going up. Any questions on the plan? Yeah.
I don't have any, no.
All right, is there a motion to accept the Delta dental plan?
I'll make the motion to accept the Delta dental plan as we reviewed.
I'll second the motion.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, review road name change request, Birch Run.
I know I spoke to you guys about it before at a special meeting, just off the top of my head. It's Town Highway 71 right now, so we need to give it a road name. So Birch Run, what we kind of talked about. And then if he should happen to build houses up there, we could make his Birch Run lane private. Or Birch Run extension private.
Beyond
Yeah,
the
beyond the town,
existing
yes,
class 4 road.
yes.
Okay. Yep,
That okay?
that's fine. I'll make a motion to make Town Highway 71 name Birch Run. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
The ayes? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, letter of support for Green Mountain neighbors. Andy?
See how long it takes me to stand up. Yeah, I'm Andy Tang. I'm on the board of Green Mountain Neighbors. That's a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization that is working with Mount Holly, with Wallingford, and with Shrewsbury. And the purpose of that is so people can age in place without moving out because they can't get to the doctor, they can't get to the supermarket. So it's, at this point, we've just really begun providing services, and what are we doing? We're taking some people to the doctor, and again, picking up things at the grocery store. It's non-medical only. We're not providing any medical support on that. And there's a grant from Vermont Community Foundation they call a Spark Grant. And what the Vermont Community Foundation will do if the grant is approved is provide some funding. I don't know how much is involved. It doesn't involve any funding from the town, but it would provide the ability to have 2 or 3 lunches, for example, in each town, so that people could come, they could learn about Green Mountain Neighbors. And basically, we're trying to build support for people that want to be members of this. It's $75 a year for an individual, $125 for a family. And the point is that if you need us, we can't wait until you can't get out of the house. You know, it's sort of like a volunteer cooperative fire thing. We need to have support ongoing, so we have a going business and some money in the bank at the time that we get more members that do need to utilize us. So again, I had sent a letter, or provided a letter to Kate, and she would care to use it. It would go to the Vermont Community Foundation so that it would show support of our town. Wallingford and Shrewsbury have each supplied a similar letter. So that's what I'm asking.
Any questions for Andy?
I think any help we can provide to seniors is
Absolutely.
a good reason to support. So
Yeah, I'll make a motion to support the Green Mountain Neighbors Organization from the Select Board perspective. So is there a second?
I'll second.
The ayes?
Aye.
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 So what I will do is notify our president that Caitlin will send a letter similar to that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Keep us posted if you get the grant.
Excuse me?
Keep us
Oh,
posted.
sure, absolutely.
Yep. Thank you, Andy. Any support to
Keep the old folks going.
elderly folks is greatly appreciated,
Absolutely.
especially in today's economy. So, in needs. Okay, ongoing and old business. Review the Veterans Monument quotes. We got 2 separate quotes.
You guys can disregard this one that says small job.
Yeah.
This was revised. And you have the new sheet is the revised.
We got one from Ferran Masonry. It's labor $600 a day, 8 to 9 hours work day. They figured it's going to take 2 days of labor for $1,200 and material costs at $500. The other one is from CSS or CS Stonework. And that one is a total of $1,919, I think it's 85 if it's cut off. These are the 2 quotes that had come in.
And just to clarify, both said that if the time estimated was not the time they actually used,
Right.
they would adjust their quotes downward, the labor costs downward to reflect the actual time spent.
I know there's one thing that we talked about, the board up here today is we'd like to run an ad in the chit chat first to see if we can't get individuals for donation, because we did not put this in the town budget. I'll be honest with you. So we would like to reach.
Has anybody reached out to the Sons of American Legion?
I'm a member.
Has anybody reached
No,
out?
we haven't reached out to anybody, because I didn't think it was gonna be a problem, because I didn't realize it hadn't been in the budget till
Yeah.
today or something.
But I'd like to see, maybe they can donate something. We can put it out in the chit chat and the news flash for donations. And we also discussed that what the difference is from donations. I'm sure the town can probably find something to cover it first.
So after speaking to the cycle member Diana and Caitlin yesterday, I probably will draft something to send out to the chit chat and the news flash. And I can send a appeal letter to the Sons of the Legion.
Yep, that would be good.
The Legion.
And Dennis, I'll be the first one to donate. I'll commit $100 to your donation.
I already did it yesterday, so don't like
Okay.
So we're already on our way.
All right.
It may be worth appealing to the people providing the material too, to see if they'll give any leeway.
And
Yep.
the town will be the point of collection.
The town will be the point of collection. We'll figure it all out. We'll fund it together, and we'll look at on the next month. Let's run this. See if we can't get donations for a month, and we'll go from there.
So it's going to include a little improvement. They're going to slope one large stone on top that slopes.
Keep it long.
When I watched it being built in 1960, that between the moisture and the freezing and thawing has been the problem with the loose stones on top, and before somebody gets hurt there. They both included the same thing, adding a top plate with a slope on it. So most of the moisture would run off, and maybe nobody'd have to visit this again in 100 years or something.
Because one quote has it's a couple $100 more, but has a cap. The other one just says repoint. Are you leaning towards the whole new cap?
I think they both, Caitlin, didn't they both?
They were both similar.
Before they were done.
One says the capstones.
It will say it will be replaced if necessary.
Yeah.
The cap.
So I
Some
spoke
may be
to,
replaced if necessary.
I spoke to both of them, so they know that we're gonna put some kind of a cap on it to flood the moisture.
Yeah, so one come in around 1,700, and the other one was around 1,900. So we'll make sure we run something on the news flash and in the chit chat, asking for donations. Then we'll go from
And I
there.
already put you down for one and me, so.
Yep.
And I think
I told you I would.
I think maybe if we can reach out to the supplier, whether it's Carrera or something, and just see
Yeah.
if there's any leeway on either new capstone or something that it's memorial. So
Yep.
I got a big piece of bluestone up there. I don't know if it's big enough, but we got it when we built the outdoor school, the classrooms.
Yep.
We got a couple big pieces from over in Castleton.
Looks like it needs to be 60 by 31.
I'll have to measure it.
Yep. And that's half the quote is the cap.
That would
Right. That would be a good chunk of the quote that could be
That would
donated.
help, for
Yep.
sure.
Okay. We'll measure it up.
Thank you.
Okay. Re-engage sheriff's office for special enforcement.
I think we just gotta,
Reach out to them.
yeah. Sure, he'll want 5% more this year.
Sure he will. I am sure they will.
Is that the same amount of hours or additional or?
We were gone last year. Gosh, I don't want to say when the sheriff comes, because then everybody knows when he comes. But he was there for 6 months of the year, basically. So basically no winter coverage. That's what we had last year.
Yeah, we kept the road slippery so they'd slow down.
So I think I would imagine the budget is the same
It's
as
the
it
same.
was.
It's the same as it was. We combined the constable's salary that we paid out, and I know we upped, I think, the sheriff's side a little bit. So
I don't think we've gotten anything for ticket.
We get $30 a month if we're lucky, approximately.
This is the time of year
yep.
between now and.
So
Jeff, will you reach out or do you want me to reach out? I think
If you want to reach out that way, I don't let
I
it
think
fall
I
through the
have,
cracks.
I think you've CC'd me on your
Yeah,
notes, so I'll just use that.
Sure.
Yep.
I just ask him for a new,
New bid.
tell him we want him, just tell him we want him to start back up and he'll
Yeah.
eager to send that.
Okay.
I'm sure he will.
Okay.
Then temporary traffic control grants.
This is just something that came through to both Carol and me. I just copied the first page of the description because it's quite long, but there are 2 grant programs that are due May 27th, so in about a week and a half. One is for a full flagger sign package. The other is for $10,000 in temporary lighting. So that would be, I guess, if you wanted to create some speed enforcement signage, either full or temporary. I know it's been discussed, so I thought I'd put it in front of you guys, but
I wonder if that 10K will purchase a sign.
I was trying to read that grant. I couldn't understand what temp lighting was.
yeah, it's that the temp one is
Like I couldn't, like the cone one was, there was like cones and signs. That one was pretty clear. You could ask basically for the whole package.
right, and then
Which
the
I
other
think
one
we should just
I
ask
thought
for.
was for one of those speed signs that you have temporarily. You don't think so?
We can ask, I think we asked.
I think we should ask for
Okay.
that. That would be something good that we could put up in, in the village.
Yeah. Or move
Move
every couple months, move it, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the signs only, we can try for the signs and
Yes.
hope nobody applies because they were, it was by region. I think there was 4 per region.
Temporary traffic lighting includes flagger assist temporary light to your specification as long as they are temporary traffic control lighting systems.
Flagger assist. I think
I
that's, I
know.
don't know, I'm not a picture of that. It's a light tower lighting up a flagger at night.
Or maybe it's a caution light, slow down.
Yeah. Flagger assist. Or it could be the automated flaggers. I don't know.
That's something that we need to look into.
I did look into speed bumps and they're about $150.
Yeah.
The removable kind.
We got them in Killington. People love them. I'll make a motion for the temporary traffic control signage grant package. And then I can help fill it out if you need help with the questions on the back of it.
I'll second it. The ayes?
Aye.
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 We can look more into the other one. We'd have to,
Yeah, they're what, $2,500, $3,000 for the signage that
depending.
flashes the speed. So we can look into that too. See if we can't get a grant for that. Okay, we do have a letter now for animal control officer. So
It's a very official letter.
yeah, well,
Better than no letter at all.
that's absolutely correct. Please consider this email as Adam Carl's formal express of interest in the animal control position. So before we go any further, before he changes his mind, I'm gonna make a motion to appoint Adam as the animal control officer. Is there a second?
Oh, I'll second that.
The ayes.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
What kind of qualifications does this guy have?
Well, he's gotten cows out of the highway before.
Dennis?
And he saves small animals
Dennis?
around our house.
I'm sure he has a kennel big enough for you. So, okay. I want to thank Adam very much.
This phone number is, no, we need a phone number so I can post it.
802-236-3656.
And that's the only number?
That's his cell phone. That's the best way to reach him. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't call the house.
Also, let him know he can utilize the news flash for any missing animals or any kind of issues he may come up with. Because they've always been there to help in the past.
Yeah.
And I can put it on the Facebook if you message me
To put, oh, for,
for
okay.
lost animals.
I'll tell him that, that's what he does Facebook.
And we'll have to update, this should be very easy, but update the Judicial Bureau to say that there's a new individual who
Yeah.
has citation writing powers. Because currently we've appointed the health officer and the animal control officer to be able
Right.
to write tickets if there's a civil municipal violation.
Does that
So
just sign anything?
he doesn't. I just need to tell the Judicial Bureau that there's a new person, same role, new person.
Does he need to sign the book, Carol?
It probably would not hurt,
Okay.
just to make it official.
Oh, perfect.
We
Just
won't
happy.
come out of it.
I'm
That's
just
right.
happy we have a volunteer. Okay, so moving on, discuss new public posting location. And that is for, you know, the agenda and so forth, because we've had some issues over the last voting period for the school budget, where it was posted in the post offices, and they tore them down and discarded them because they said we're not allowed to post in the post office anymore.
I did get an email from Julie stating that we can, but if the new clerks go in, they will hold them down because the training does state
Not allowed.
not allowed.
So,
Wow. No flexibility.
What about up where they put the, you know, the box up at the lake?
At the lake?
The little library?
mm-hmm.
What if we put something there?
Well, there's the board that's right at the ramp, the boat ramp.
Yeah.
There's already like a big platform. At
Yeah.
least it,
That would be good because it's
It's there.
always open too,
Yeah.
whereas currently.
it's got a little roof on it.
Always open.
Right, and also another thought was right down here by the fire station.
On the side of it or something.
Yeah, out in the lawn area.
We can incorporate it into the fire station
It's
renovations.
okay if you decide you want to do that, but this, I think my only concern is, I'm not against it, Carol, but if there is an emergency, our parking is limited down there. So if the event that somebody wants one or two cars, which I don't see it happening, but it could. Or
We got it right
we come in first.
We got it right here anyways.
Yes.
We got it here.
Well, we've got to have at least 3 places.
I know. I'm just thinking it's close to that.
Well,
there.
my only thought too is there's no foot traffic or
Right.
even really traffic at the
Yeah.
rescue building, whereas at the post offices, people get out of their cars and they
go
see.
in.
There's the
I would
outdoor
maybe say
board.
the library and the Star Lake, because at least there's people who walk and return books and.
But we still need one down, and we need one in Mount Holly.
Yeah.
It's great.
all Belmont.
And
Well, we're not required to have one in Belmont and one in Mount Holly. We're just required to have 2 in the municipality of Mount Holly.
but some of the posting requires 5 places.
Oh, I see.
Can we
Really?
put a board
Yes.
on the outside of the post office?
For the,
You have a
residential
small one
area,
now.
You have to
put
reach
5
out to
places.
Casey Hodge and see
Yeah.
if he
We
would
have
do
one
that.
already
There
But
is
it's,
one there.
Small
it's
one.
not big enough, like
for the morning, the
the
big
warnings and
Yeah.
everything. I know Bovee mentioned maybe doing one up to the transfer station,
Mhm.
and that's only open 2 days a week, but that would help. But what about if we stuck one that Billy had mentioned on the other side of the pad where the old town garage was, towards the river, brook, whatever you want to call that, and put one there. Cars could pull in by where the old town garage was.
I'm not opposed to down that first. It's not, I don't own the property. I can't really say much of anything, but we just gotta be mindful of how we're,
I
where we're
think,
putting it and how, and
Which ones require all 5?
The presidential primary, we had to have 5, and we ended up having, we had one up at the school, and then we posted one in East Wallingford. But really, East Wallingford isn't the town of Mount Holly.
Right.
But for me to be able to get all 5 places,
maybe we can reach out to Casey and see if he would let us increase the size of that little bulletin board right there at the post office.
He already has said we can do whatever we need to do. He didn't have any cares about the size.
Right.
So I think that would be
I think
an
that's a
easy, a
good-
formality, but he would say yes.
Yeah, I think that's a good option because that's where you're gonna get most of the foot traffic is
Okay.
post offices. I just don't, I don't see people just pulling up to a board to read it, because
No.
I wouldn't do it.
Isn't there, I've heard there's a possibility that the Tilly's might be opening the store sometime in the relatively near future. So it might make sense to touch base with Alyssa or Dave and say, when you open it, can you make a provision for, and especially if they're doing the carpentry and contracting,
Right.
might be an ideal time for them to actually make something if they'd like to have it be
Well,
pleasing.
it doesn't matter whether they open or not, they own the building, as long as they give you permission to put the bulletin board outside on the walkway that takes you to the post office.
Right.
You got it.
Right.
It just, I gotta make it big enough.
Even on the, technically speaking, even on the outside wall of the post office is owned by the Tillys, so
Yeah, right.
if they say that's okay, as long as we're not inside,
Right.
So that's 4 spots.
Yeah.
That's 4 spots. One more. The lake.
We got the lake.
Yeah, the lake.
Yep. That'll cover them all.
So we got the lake. The primary spots are, how many postings do you need for normal stuff? Like town
2 plus
meetings?
the town office for normal stuff, for town stuff.
So
But for
then
when it comes to the presidential,
you'll need 5.
you
yeah.
need 5.
So the town, for the select board meetings, it's 3. Town office, the library,
It's gotta be outside.
yeah.
So the 2 post offices.
And we did one at the school this
You
year.
can't count the post offices.
No, I'm saying on the outside, you're gonna put bulletin boards on outside of each.
That's if you get permission from Casey, yes, but I don't know about Tilly. And I'm not gonna go up there and go around their stuff to post on that bulletin board.
What about the lake and the Mount Holly post office outside for the 2,
Yeah.
plus the town office?
Yep.
And then the additional could be the library, school,
The school we did, yes, we did the
because
school.
at least there's a lot of visibility there.
But that's only for parents that can get inside.
If they don't have anything outside.
No, it's inside.
It's just inside the entrance doors.
Right.
There should be an exception for very small towns.
It was a break, yeah.
I just don't think,
Post the school budget.
I just don't think they would, pull into the fire station to look at a board.
That's probably why that board is at that lake, because there's no other reason for it to be there.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Somebody probably had this conversation 20 years ago. Select board.
You could say the store, just,
And I can ask Dave,
yeah,
so.
there's already one there, I don't think they'd be opposed.
So the library and the store are the
Yeah.
are the 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Put it outside the bottom of the library, the community center.
Not much room, but yeah.
Well, you're
Well, there's quite a few people
outside
going in and out.
somewhere, Unless
As long as it doesn't snow.
you get buried in the
It
snow.
never snows in Mount Holly. So,
It's just not a problem.
so is there a motion to
That's what I
adopt?
was just gonna say, the Veterans Monument.
Yeah. Is there a motion to adopt the 5?
I'll make a motion to adopt the primary ones the primary 3 is the lake, the town office, the Mount Holly store, pending asking the owner of the store, not the Mount Holly store, but Casey Hodge. And then the 4 and 5 would be the Belmont Library, and I lost track. What was the 5th?
Starlight.
Starlight.
And
Did you list
Town
that?
Lake was-
office.
Lake was-
town would be the
you forgot town
library
office.
and the
Town
store.
And the Mount Holly, the Belmont store. Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
The ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that has been. Okay, the addition one, the housing grants.
Yeah, we gotta get moving on that housing grant, and I was talking to Liz, and we're thinking about just forming a committee to help kind of gather information and work together, a working committee. So I just wanted to give an update that if there was any objections to that, I don't think we need to vote, but just more of a noted in the meeting minutes that we're forming a committee, and I think we decided on members reaching out to some people that are involved in the previous one, plus
Just general, the committees that are involved in doing all that.
yeah, commissions like Conservation Commission and so forth. Select Board,
Green Mountain.
Green Mountain Neighbors. Okay. That's it.
Perfect. Any questions on that for the housing grant? Okay, moving on to citizens' comments, concerns. Dennis.
So we inadvertently left off the cemetery update on the agenda and stuff. So a few things going on. I talked to Joe and Jamie Fitzgerald, and they're willing to continue to do the two that they've been doing right along. I do have a guy from Perry Road meeting me tomorrow morning to see if he's gonna, I think he might take on one of them, either the Green on 103 or Melton Cemetery off 155. Craig Russell, I've already spoke to. I haven't got volunteers for Packer, and he's willing to continue to mow it once a month for 6 months. So that's going along. I spoke to the 5th and 6th graders last Friday morning. They need community service hours. So they're going through Craig Cutbader as far as cleaning some stones, and there were a couple other opportunities and stuff that weren't related to the town and stuff. But so hopefully we'll line up a few things there. There was a tree quote from last fall. Well, he was supposed to take it down last fall, but the quote just came in about 2 months ago from GM Tree Tech about taking the one big maple across from Countryside Lock and Alarm on Turnpike Road. And it's been so wet he couldn't get in. So I'm not sure if you want, I can tell him to not do it till after July 1st, the next year, the next fiscal year, if that's what you're comfortable with, Liz or something. I mean, I don't think it's a problem. We're 6 weeks away. He's waited this long. I don't think he's got plenty of work.
Yeah, it's not, it wasn't discussed when we had the budget, so that's another one where I know it wasn't built into the budget number. So we have to look at that again for next year.
But there is some money there, my understanding, to finish this year. It's a $900 quote to get the tree down. It's all rotted on the backside in a big cavity, so it's definitely needs to come down. But you can think about it right now. But I can let them know to just hold off till after July 1st if you want.
Was that originally in last year's?
Yeah, there's always some in there. And it has to do with trees as far as I'm concerned because of what's going on. There's a few trees here and there. There's a lot over in Packer Cemetery on the outside, right around the outside of the cemetery and stuff. And I don't know.
When does mowing start? Is it this month?
Yeah, he'll be starting next week or two. It's growing pretty fast.
For Memorial Day.
And with a sunny day like today. David, I did have a question for you. The trustee of public funds. So there is some money available for the cemeteries that are listed in what you control. There's a terrible fund, the Packer Cemetery Fund, there was a bunch listed.
Yeah, somebody wants to prove using some of it. So.
I didn't hear what he said.
He said there is, as long as it wants to be approved to use it.
Yeah, right. Is that money controlled by the selectmen, or is that cemetery commissioners and the trustee of public funds?
That's kind of a gray area, so that's why we're all involved.
Right. Well, I don't have a problem, but I know that, the cemetery commissioners can approve some things and spend some money, but it's not basically from your budget. It would be from cemetery funds, so that's still available, or the trustee of a cemetery fund or public funds.
So cemetery upkeep funds on here is mowing. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
5660000.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll pay, basically we're gonna hit budget with mowing in the next 2 months. Because the remainder of that was already spent last summer through fall.
Yeah. The tree removal we have is.
With ash tree and shade tree, and I know the Conservation Commission mentioned something. I don't know if that'll go anywhere in the next 2 months, but it's big-headed. There was a different purpose originally for that.
Yeah, it's not for, the ash tree is for cutting trees, but.
So if I'm not hearing much about the next 6 weeks, and we're close to the using up the funds in the cemetery, I mean, I can just let GM Tree Tech know to wait till after July 1st.
Dennis,
Is it one tree or more than one tree?
Well, it's one tree there.
It's a big maple.
There's other trees, and that's why I'm sorry I didn't email you guys in December.
Which cemetery is it?
So the Packer, that's the Mount Holly Cemetery across from Countryside Lockton, Ohio.
It's on Old
It's
Turnpike.
not Packer. It's the one across from Countryside Lockton Turnpike. But there are several around Packer Cemetery that are pretty rough shape. But there's, keep an eye on one in Hortonville and one over in Carlton Cemetery. These are large maples.
We're probably likely not gonna have money in next year's budget, based on we didn't budget for it.
We have
We-
2,500 in
We
the
have 2,500 in the ash,
next year.
but we have 2,500 this year in the ash. And we're not planning to do any ash tree.
No.
No, not unless the highway has, but I don't think there's any.
Just don't wanna get behind on maintenance, it's like, if we have a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did the town contact Joe and Jamie Fitzgerald about the beach and the triangle yet? Because, they're certainly willing to do it and stuff. They do a great job. They do the museum and stuff too, so.
I don't think we formally
I don't think we
contacted them.
formally,
No.
No.
We can email them.
Yeah, we can reach out to them.
Can you reach out to them, Caitlin?
Yeah.
Just confirm they're good for this year.
They'll keep going.
Yeah.
So, would anybody be amendable to ash tree budget line item? Just,
I'm okay with that.
yeah,
good idea.
I think we'll have to make a motion on that.
question.
I'm just wondering, is this near a road, this tree? Dennis?
No, it's toward the back of the cemetery.
Oh,
But
forget that idea then.
it's gonna come apart and really
Forget that.
do the job.
I don't even know, I don't even wanna know what you're thinking.
No, I'll make a motion to amend the ash tree budget to include taking this
Tree down in the cemetery.
$900 tree down in
These are maple.
the Mount Holly Cemetery. Is there a second?
I'll second this tree of unknown species.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any other citizens' concerns or comments?
I don't know. I have a comment I'd like to make. Sadly, it's at the advice of my council. I'm one of the 2 subdivision things that are going on with the planning commission. And at the second meeting that I was at, there was an encroachment issue that was brought up. And I've known of the encroachment for years and have never made anything of it. But because when my surveyor came to place monuments, it became a big issue. And now a couple of the planning commission members are trying to force me into transferring ownership of that parcel. And there's no legal basis for that. It's taking my legal rights away from me. My counsel has said that the first step for me to be able to file a grievance is to present this to the board. So sadly, this is why I'm here. I just simply want to get my subdivision processed so I can move on to my camping days and retirement. That's all I want to do.
Will you just state your name and your address for the?
Bob Garrow, 929 Packer Road.
Thank you.
And it's just, I have not felt that this board has tried to help me in any way, because this, they came in, the Nortons came in, and they were given all of the, I don't know what you want to call it, the attention. I have surveys from Charlie, from my parents, and from the surveyor that I just hired. They've verified and documented them things. And Gary stands there and says, no, that's not where it belongs, and they believe him. So there's a little bit, I don't know what to do.
Is this adverse possession that you're dealing with?
Yes, Andy?
Yeah, so my recollection of what happened before the Planning Commission was that some of Mr. Garrow's neighbors showed up at the meeting to express concern about the future location of access to one of the new parcels. That was the issue that, as I understood it, was raised by the neighbors. And during the course of that, it was Mr. Garrow who raised a issue as to the location of monuments and whether the property lines were correctly shown on a survey or not. And that became a point of concern to the Planning Commission because part of the approval of any subdivision application involves the submission of a plat that shows the boundary lines. And the commission expressed concern about approving a plat as to which there was disagreement about the location of the boundary lines. No one on the commission tried to pressure Mr. Garrow into making any concessions with respect to his property. It was pointed out that the process of proceeding with his application would be considerably streamlined if he and his neighbors could reach an agreement as to where the property lines were. But there certainly was no pressure placed on him to make any accommodations. So I would not otherwise engage in this discussion in this forum, but it seems to me that Mr. Garrow's description of what was asked of him is not really accurate. He was not actually asked to do anything. It was suggested that if he could work it out with his neighbors, that would streamline the process.
I'll disagree with that because you were on camera, Andy, and you made the comment that I have, what is it going to hurt me with 70 some acres to just give them that piece of land? That was your comment on camera.
No, well, we can go to the videotape if we need to, but yes, I did comment that there was a very small piece of property involved, or that was in dispute, that there was no dispute, in fact, as to the size. May I finish, please? There was no dispute, at least this is what I said, as I understood from the comments made. There was no dispute as to the size of your neighbor's lot. So no one, I think the size of the lot was 1.12 acres. And there was no dispute as to the size. And since it represents an inholding in your property, that it was really just a question of where those lines were. So, in fact, I think if you were to review what happened, there was no suggestion that you give up any of your property. It was just a matter of agreeing where those lines were, defining the 1.12 acres.
You made to me making a lot line adjustment isn't a reference to the lot lines. There's 3 surveyors that have put the monuments where my surveyor located them. He didn't set them because I've known of this encroachment for years. And I don't know what the big deal is of the encroachment, why it would hold up a subdivision if it's been ongoing.
Yeah, I can't answer that, and I can't answer for the planning commission. So I would say if your surveyor is putting the pins in where the lines are, then that is the lines that you take back to the planning commission.
And I'm not saying that the Nortons have to remove themselves from my property. They've used it for this long. It's in an area that I'm not ever going to use. I didn't care. It had never been an issue. But when they put my subdivision on hold until I did this, that's the problem. I have now since received my permit from the state for the wastewater disposal.
Okay.
So these things have occurred. Mr. Schultz seems to think that I should have to have in regards to the open land,
that I should have to provide a wastewater permit for that, and the state says, no, you don't need to. So he wants me to spend more money.
I don't know why you're pinning this on me. The commission stated that it would like to see the permit from the state. It sounds like you have one.
So there's a permit filed in the town office? Okay.
It's filed and recorded.
Okay. So I would...
There's big problems with this whole subdivision package that comes out of the town. Huge problems. They sent me after a permit that didn't exist. When I got, the next day, I went to the state. I went back to my company, I was doing the surveying, and I dug into it, and I spent the next 3 days researching, finally getting in touch with people at the A&R in Rutland, and finding out what the process is. And there's nothing on that sheet that comes out of this town office that's correct. It has to go through the state first. The only thing you could probably do first here is the sketch review. You can't do anything else, you have to go through them. I had to pay the state, and all they need to do on that form is just tell people, go to the Agency of Natural Resources. There is a very navigable page that outlines everything for you. And everything is right there.
Yeah, I don't know much about the process, I'll be honest.
Well, I do now.
So.
I do now.
Have you brought it back to the Planning Commission?
They don't want to hear it. They keep referring, the first meeting, their comments were the what do they call it, the ordinance that was from 1998 was outdated and we can't follow it, we can't use it. So until it becomes convenient that some part of it that they want to employ to delay me and cause me more time and effort and money, they want to reuse that. The whole thing needs to be scrapped. The state took over in 2007 when they did away with the 10.1 acre lot restrictions or exemptions for septic. The state took over all wastewater. They do from any size parcels now. And they have to be site specific. I cannot take a 50 acre parcel of land and possibly spend enough money to determine how many viable sites are on that property before somebody comes along and says, I just want to pasture cows. So it's an undue burden on me, is what it is. I'm just trying to get this wrapped up and closed so I can move on. It has not been a very comfortable process. And as appointed individuals, they seem to believe that they have much more authority than they do. They're appointed neighbors of mine in this town. The state Agency of Natural Resources, at least those people have an education in what they're doing. They have forms after forms after forms of organization and what you need to do for what and when. All I'm saying is that these guys are struggling at best at this, and they probably don't have many of them. And I know that the effort and time that they put into this is valuable to the town, and I didn't want to disrupt that. I just simply want to get mine. It's a very, very simple open land subdivision. I just want to get it done so I can move on.
Okay. Have you gone back again to them?
I've got a meeting tomorrow night with them. Okay. The proposition to me was I was supposed to be coming in there with a recordable document that they wanted to file in the town office on my deed, basically stating that I'm going to give that land to my neighbors.
Well, that's also not true. It was our recommendation.
Andy, if I'm creating a drafted document that's going to be recorded.
May I finish, please?
This is probably not the forum for that.
No, I agree. It's not the forum, but I also can't sit here and listen to statements that are not true without at least correcting them.
Yes, we'll decide what the proper forum is.
Yes. You have a additional meeting tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
Okay.
I just wanted to be on the minutes with this situation. That's what my counsel suggested. Get it recorded in another venue.
Okay. So it is documented in the minutes of the concerns. So let's see where tomorrow's meeting goes. You have your surveyor's map
that you're going to bring to that meeting.
They've already been deposited.
Okay. So let's see where that goes tomorrow, and we'll move forward on
Okay.
that. So duly noted, it's in the minutes. You know, I don't want to have this meeting dragged on.
I didn't want to do that either.
Nope.
I didn't want to do that either.
You stated the concerns that you're feeling unfairly from the subdivision board, so we'll move.
Right, well,
We'll move.
I came across your, in the, you know, in the town site, so.
Okay, and we'll move forward with that. And if I have free time, maybe I'll swing into the meeting tomorrow.
That would be very appreciated.
Yep. Okay.
Okay,
Okay, Bob, thank you.
thank you.
Any other concerns?
Oh, the town office is closed on,
Memorial.
thank you.
I didn't get the announcements yet.
Oh,
I
sorry.
have one. I have a blind I'll donate to this window. It's not green, but it's like, you know, it would help everybody here. Brand new in the box.
All right, so you heard the announcements from Carol already, so any other announcements, Carol?
Did you have another one?
Nope, go right
Okay, the
ahead.
Conservation Commission asked me to add that their energy fair is on June 15th.
Yeah, and I want to throw out one other concern that was brought to the attention, that the minutes have to be filed with the town for documentation purposes within 5 days
Open meeting law.
of the open meeting law. So for those that are not filing it within the 5 days, I really encourage you to make sure that happens so we can get it in the appropriate files for documentation purposes. So going forward, please, within the 5 days. Okay, review and sign the orders.
I just had an announcement of Thursday, July 4th, there was a parade in Belmont, and I don't know if there's anything going on, but whatever we normally do and you guys have normally allowed, should work fine and take care of the weather on Thursday the 4th. So what you mentioned about 5 days, that's in draft form. Something has to be in draft form. Within
So
5
it
days.
has to be filed.
Yep.
Okay, review and sign the orders. Executive session, Title I, VSA S313A3. Personnel if needed. I don't believe we need anything.
We discussed that the compensation rate review should be done at the next meeting prior to the fiscal year.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we
Yep.
were, I think that's what we were, yeah.
We can have that on next month's
Next
meeting.
month, June,
Yep,
yeah.
we can add that. With that being said, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
I bring it up next month.
Okay.